How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to yet another rant video. And I'm sorry my voice might be a little bit different than it is usually because I was feeling a little bit under the weather today, so just bear with me. And I know I haven't posted in what is it, 2.5 weeks now or something like that, but to be completely honest, I haven't really been in the mood to be making a video as I've just been feeling kind of crappy. I know I just recently posted up a video on how to be a happy person, but sometimes life just punches you in the face, and I'm in the process of punching it back, just so we're even and me and life are on an even footing. So, yeah, that's why I haven't really been putting up any videos lately. Today I'm going to be talking about how to argue, and that's a weird thing to say, but it's arguments are a lot different and have a lot more to them than a lot of people realize. Now, with these videos, I'm actually going to try to be cutting them down to about 10 minutes or so because I know time is kind of precious and 15 minutes is a little bit lengthy, so I'm going to be trying to cut them down and be as quick as possible, get my point across. So, I'm just going to jump right into it. When I was younger, when I was about 10, 11, 12, around those ages, my mom and my stepfather always argued. It was like a daily process. They would always be yelling across the house. It was terrible. I hated it. I would always feel awkward, like maybe it was my fault. It was usually start off between something me and my stepbrother disagreed with, and then it would just blow up into this huge argument that my mom had with my stepfather, and it wasn't a good thing. And at that point, it just made me realize that I hated arguments, because after seeing all that, I saw that there wasn't really a resolution. There wasn't anything good that came out of them. But arguments do play a role in relationships and things like that. And that's what I'm primarily going to be talking about today, is arguments within a relationship. Not really just arguments with other people, although this could apply, but just not to the perspective that I'm going to be telling it. I was in a few relationships, and I've had very different ideas of arguments within those relationships. For one, I used to feel that arguments were pointless. Well, I still kind of feel that way, but it was different. Like, I just didn't want to argue at all. Like, I just hate arguing. If someone wanted to argue with me, I would just kind of blow it off and not even. I just wouldn't even care. I wouldn't even address the problem. And I think that might have been one of the reasons that kind of broken down one of my past relationships, because I never argued with that person. And whenever we did, which was on a very rare occasion, maybe, I don't even know, like 5 times the entire relationship, it just blew out of proportion. It was a crazy huge, a lot of yelling back and forth, and it had nothing to do with the initial thing that started that argument. And it happens, it's kind of on both sides. Like, in a relationship, it's healthy to have arguments, but you need to argue in a good way, right? You need to argue and have a point to that argument and resolve that argument, not just leave being angry at each other. You know, if that makes any sense. And for one, if you're the person that feels there's a problem and you're not saying anything about it, you need to say something about it. You need to not necessarily argue, but put your opinion out there and tell the other person that it's bothering you. And if you're the other person that thinks that there's nothing wrong, then maybe you need to analyze situations a little bit more and kind of pay attention to those small body languages that your partner is showing you. And yeah, when you need to, it's a, I can't even say it right now. It's 50-50, I guess I'm trying to say. It's both persons' responsibility to address a problem or put a problem out there on the table for you guys to talk about. Now, I'm going to give you some examples of bad arguments, and those would be things like, I don't know, say you and a girl went out on a date, right? And you're out on this date and you forgot to open the door for her. Not necessarily, I mean, you probably would have opened the door for her, but maybe just something was on your mind and you just completely forgot about it. And then she gets all pissed at you. She's like, "Why didn't you open the door for me?" You're like, "Oh, I'm sorry, babe." And then it goes on. And then eventually you start talking about how you never talk on the phone, and then it just explodes into this huge argument that goes back to things way in the past of your relationship and these a lot bigger problems than not opening the door for that girl. So arguments, in my experience, are basically just small disagreements are just the spark that start this huge forest fire of emotions and anger within two people in a relationship, and you need to address those problems. Arguments are really about not necessarily not opening the door for a girl or you don't like the same movie. It's what I said earlier, like you don't talk very often, you don't have that good of a communication, or maybe you're not into the same things, or maybe the other person's really stressed out and you're not addressing that, and then just not opening the door or forgetting to say goodbye or give them a kiss goodbye, like it just explodes into this huge argument that needs to be addressed. Now when you do address these, now you need to stay on point. Like say you are arguing about that not opening the door for the girl, you need, and then all of a sudden you start arguing about these a lot. I'm having such a hard time talking today. You start arguing about things that are a lot more serious. You need to kind of put the whole door thing aside and try to work out that problem that's right in front of you at that moment. You need to work that out, because once you work that out, then the whole door thing doesn't really seem like a big problem at all. But I don't really have any rules on arguments, but the number one rule, I'll list my vague rules, but the first one is like a definite rule. There's no hitting someone or physical contact does not resolve an argument at all. Like, even if a girl is just like pushing the guy, like, "Oh my god, I hate you, you're stupid," like, why even shove him? What is that gonna do? He's just gonna be like, "Ooh, well, girl, man, you crazy." You know, it's just gonna make things a lot worse. So don't even do anything physical. That's my number one ingrained rule. Do not do that. Rule number 2, it's vague, kind of. You need to stay on point. If there's a bigger problem ahead of you, forget about the smaller thing and just work on that bigger problem. One thing that's kind of worked out for me in the past is if you are in a big argument and things are just getting way too heated, give it a 10-minute break. Just do whatever you're gonna do. Well, let the person know that you're gonna take a 10-minute break. Like, let's just take a breather. Let's think about what we're about to say, and then just do your own thing for like 10 minutes, and then come back to it and try to address the problem in a more reasonable manner after you thought about the whole thing. Exactly. It just makes things a lot better when you take time and think about what you're about to say and not say something you'll regret for a long time afterwards. So I think this is kind of weird. This is kind of a lot shorter than I usually end my videos, but I wish there was more I could say. I mean, well, I guess that's it, guys. Now, if you want to see more videos like this, you could always subscribe to my channel. Not really a big deal, because this channel is just kind of for me to get things off my chest and nothing really else. It's also to help you guys out, but it's mostly for me just kind of put things out there so I feel better about myself. And yeah, I hope you guys have a good one and took some of the information I put out there to heart. And yeah.